We're nearly at 5,000, we're doing quite well. Shame that we've had to do so much experimenting. Return to reality from treetops. Beastmakers will. Let's try and clear out the rest of the homeworld that we can do before we progress to the last level, which is the boss level, Metalhead, which involves retracing our steps up this area and then gliding out into the distance to pick up a key. We now have nearly every gem available to us in the Beastmaker's homeworld. So now we're ready to fight the boss, Metalhead. And this time we're treated to a new kind of enemy on top of a treetops enemy with the arrow through the head, the metal banana thrower. Obviously making him impervious to flame. But that's no big deal to us anyway, since we're not allowed to flame anyway. These boxes become just a means eventually. Alright, let's go back. Got everything in this area, it appears so. Alright, so we're blocked by one of the bigger enemies, which means our only way around is to just not like that. Their feet range just never gets old for me at how fucking long it is. It's just ridiculous how badly designed their range is. Kicked, and we avoided it. Go on, Sparks, can you get dinner away? We need to pick up everything that we can. Death, there we go. Still got a kick in the shins for the sake of it. Metalhead is one of the closest things to a boss on this. We had Dr. Shemp, who was sort of an improvement on Toasty. Metalhead is kind of, there is actually phases to him, which is kind of what usually orchestrates what a boss is on games. Especially considering compared to the last boss, Jack, or Jacques rather. Jacques is, you can't believe that he's what qualifies for a final boss. As cool as he is to look at. Not that we can deal with Jacques. In fact, I think Metalhead is possibly the only boss that we can actually defeat with just charge. And the reason is that you can't damage Metalhead in the standard means of attacking him. You have to attack certain objects that give him power, as you'll see when we get there, which shouldn't be too long now. Just backtracking to get some treasure. The only backtracking we have to do in this level, fortunately. We also have we've got to get past the Shin Kicker again. Least favourite enemies when you can't flame. Well, I don't know actually, it'd be a toss up between them and... Ooh, hello. Can't escape justice. Toss up between them and the kind of bunny plants, as I like to call them, even though it's clearly not their real name. Narrowly avoiding a kick into the swamp water. Had a trip once, wasn't nice. You'll also notice that there's fodder, which is not usual for a boss level. Bossy levels usually, to kind of amp up their difficulty, they include no fodder. This is an exception. I also think that there is one other boss that Jacques may have fodder in it somewhere. Right, am I going to be able to get past you two without you killing me? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yes, I am. Okay. Can I get the treasure behind you? Yes, that should be easy. Okay. Alright, we made it through. We're rewarded with the only dragon of Metalhead, Siddiqui.
This big robot is all charged up to meet you. Attacking the powerful should disrupt its power supply.
It's an interesting boss choice as well anyway, Metalhead, because it's a very medieval theme to Spyro, as you'd expect in a dragon game. And yet, they have a robot with a purple mohawk. It's almost as though Insomniac just like, you know what, we're going to create a cool boss and we don't care whether it fits in to the theme or not. He also has a unique ability to not only attack us with actual attacks, but he also attacks us by flinging a nice queue of enemies towards us. What will happen is, as soon as we destroy all of his metal charges, he will then flee from us, leaving all of his companions he was throwing at us turn to gems. So it saves us the hassle of actually having to kill them. This is his second phase, which is similar to his first, except he has more attacks and there's more of his bases to destroy. And the cool thing with Metalhead as well is you can actually trick him into attacking his own stuff. So that laser beam that you see will destroy his own supply if he comes into contact with it. That is Metalhead destroyed. Not a difficult boss by any stretch of the imagination, but the closest thing I feel to a boss on this game is probably Metalhead, just because of the fact that he has phases and he has, you know, an array of attacks. Shempa also has 3 phases where he does actually do 3 unique attacks to you, and therefore Shemp is also what I'd consider, you know, fair enough to call a boss. But those are the only 2. Even Nasty Nork doesn't quite, in my books, qualify as a decent enough boss. Nasty Nork, considering how nasty he looks like he'd be a bit of a challenge, but we'll see. I don't think he'll pose us too much of a threat. Get all the gems that we can. It's really annoying doing this without sparks, but we'll get our sparks back when we go to the Dreamweavers world. And the Dreamweavers world will mark our last world that we will have to deal with. That's dreadful. Oops. In terms of kind of legit levels. Why can't I glide today? It's not even far. But yeah, the Dreamweavers world is the last in terms of that. The Nasty's world has levels, but there's only 3, including the boss level. 4 if you count Nasty's loot, but that can only be opened with total completion in every other world, which won't be doable without Flame, clearly. So, and likewise in the other challenge, it won't be doable without Charge. And that's all we can get in this. The remaining gems are in the shin-kicking enemies, which we cannot defeat. Beastmakers is finished at last. Grab the last gem of this world before moving on to the Dreamweavers. Dreamweavers is by far my favourite world. It is the most colourful, it has the coolest levels, but it is also probably going to be the most challenging world, being the last world, bar Nasty's world of course. Right off the bat we're introduced to 2 enemies, a jester of sorts that we can kill despite being big and small at different times, and then we have this armoured jester monk, slap happy monk thing that we cannot kill because he is armoured. But yeah, the unique thing with the Dreamweavers world is that there's a cannoneer up there, and he fires his weapon at the enemies, making them big or small at his whim. But fortunately, that won't really come into play on this challenge, since we can kill the unarmoured monks and we can't kill the armoured monks anyway. Going into Dark Passage, which is the first level of the Dreamweavers world that we will encounter. This has a gimmick of utilising light. In platformers there always tends to be a mission that utilises the idea of light, but on this particular level the idea of light is determined by how strong the enemies within the passage are. Are they small or big? So it's almost like the cannoneer guy from the main hub world of the Dreamweavers. I'm just going to utilise this, what I would call the UFO turtle, and people that have played Yu-Gi-Oh will get that. He looks just like the UFO turtle to me, shoots fireballs like the UFO turtle. But those projectiles are going to be valuable to us because they can destroy containers, metal containers that we cannot. Casilla.
The enemies here can be quite frightening, but you should watch the fools.
The enemies here will be very frightening. I do agree, Casilla. The archers, they're a new enemy for this level. Whoops. Okay, there's 2 chests there, that's worth bearing in mind. These are like hellhounds, I guess. That's the closest thing I can describe them as. But like, there was also hellhounds in Toasty, but I guess these are like the puppies that turn into demonised versions. Okay, and pretty much 5 steps later we have our second dragon, Azizi. One of the funny things with Dark Passage is it does have the makings of what would be quite a challenging level, but the checkpoints are very close together, so you never really feel like you're losing any progression at all when you do die. Not that I expect to be dying much anyway, to be honest. So these are the falls that you see me flaming occasionally that turn into light bulbs. They're indestructible. They do not contain a gem. They are merely a way of determining the source of the light. Now I remember this particular chest being somewhat unusual. Just died, and that is that, weirdly enough, when I take the projectile, like when the enemy, the UFO turtle if you will, fires his projectile, it seems to go right through the chest and doesn't seem to break through it at all, which is a bit annoying. It's almost like it should be a gem that we could get on this challenge, but I'm doing this legitimately, and as you can see quite plainly, it's going directly through the chest. I'm not going to collect the gem with him because, as far as I'm concerned, you know, it's not legitimate to do so unless the game allows me to do so. I mean, I'd try here for a short while trying to get different angles, see if I could just somehow trick it to collide, but I don't know what it is. I don't know whether there's a hitbox that just will not trigger from it. I do not know. So I'm going to give up on that chest pretty soon and move on to somewhere else. Yeah, it just isn't going to collide, is it? Okay, I'm going to go glide over to here. Get this one up, making me have 9. And getting the next dragon, Bakar, which is the final dragon on the main path. Putting us on 60 dragons. But our journey on the Dark Passage does not end here. Save the game because it will probably help in case of crashes, for starters. Okay, Oh damn, I'm without sparks again, that's annoying. Whirlwind to the right. Now I can't recall if this leads to any gems. I don't think it does. I think it's just a yeah, it's just a redo. I think that's how it's pronounced. Might be redoubt. I can't think of how it's pronounced, but yeah, a way just to get quickly back to an earlier stage of the level. I mean, I could kill these little puppies anyway, but you know, it's a lot more fun watching this guy do it completely remorseless to the fact that he's killing his comrades. Fine by me, dude. You do all the killing for me. Get me some magic mushrooms to replenish the sparks. That's it. And can we have that again, please? With cheese this time. An arrow with cheese. Thank you. How does it feel watching your friends die? Weird Cupid archery demon thing. Oh, nearly missed this firework crate. Okay. And we are left with a solemn 1 gem from that firework crate. Might as well have just put it in a normal chest if that's all that we're going to do for that, to be honest. Nice array of puppies in a row there. I usually like to charge through them because it makes this almost amusing sound of like a ooh, 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 ooh in a row. I hope you liked my impersonation of that, to be fair. Once again, I'm going to have to use the UFO turtles to destroy the chests. That's just going to become canon for me now. They are now called UFO turtles and nothing else. But yeah, I'm going to have to use their fireballs of doom to break open these chests because I am not able to. And that's sort of the gimmick that is a part of this level, is just using enemies to kill other enemies and chests, etc. Hopefully this will get it. There we go, nice. The last part of the puzzle for this room, because our light friend doesn't do anything on his own, we have to actually trigger him by flaming him so that we have a bit of light. I'm just going to wait for him to pop up again. Okay, I'm going to hopefully get them to kill each other now. Whee! Yeah! Matrix! That amazing dragon reflexes. Up the whirlwind to the final part of the level. Well, sort of the final part of the level. The final third of the level is probably a little bit more appropriate. I love this level. Like, there is just... It is trying so hard to be difficult, but it just isn't because of the amount of fodder and the amount of checkpoints. It's arguably one of my more favourite levels, Dark Passage. But as a kid I absolutely despised it. Here we're coming against another little bit of an issue.